you did your eyelashes. They look very mysterious.
Well, it looked mysterious, and because I was like a manga pirate. I was just like going down the seven seas.
Grow out and shit.
He looking like Peter Frampton on there. Look at that.
Oh yeah, I'm alive, baby.
Look at that. He knows Frampton is. That's awesome.
I
very
know.
unique looking.
I just had brunch with Versace yesterday.
There you
See
go.
that? You are truly out the closet now, Theo. When you're having lunch with Versace.
It wasn't
You
just
know,
a
within 30
closet,
days,
Ron. Ron, it wasn't just a closet. It was a walk-in closet, dude.
Oh,
That's how it works
damn.
sometimes, man.
Yeah,
That's how it works
get his
sometimes.
groove on.
First of all, Theo, welcome to the show. And ladies and gentlemen who are watching, welcome to So You Think You Got Problems with
So you think
the
you got
illustrious,
problems?
yes, sir, Mike Moritor, Jeff Keller.
So you think you got problems?
That's right. And our weekly guests, every week we bring in somebody who that we love, that has overcome a lot of different adversities and the journey of self-love. This week, I have the newest entrance to the LGBTQ plus community, Mr. Theo Manhattan, who's a very funny motherfucker as well.
Yeah, Theo.
I'm very glad to finally being a card-carrying member of the LGBT community.
Congratulations, man! Congratulations. So, first of all, so Theo, you're how long has it been since you've officially come out of the closet?
Over a month? No.
About a month or so.
It was last week of Pride, so right about a month, 3.5 weeks maybe.
What was that process like for you, and why? And how old are you? First of all, how old are you?
I'm 28. I'm 29 next Sunday.
Congratulations! Oh, wow. Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Thank you. Yeah,
so,
it's like a present being on here.
Listen, man, you're an amazing guy. You're one of my favorite people. So what was that process? What was that process like for you? Because 29 is it's on the further it starts getting a little old there. Why did it take you so long? What were the underpinnings to holding you back?
Well, just like what you said in the intro, there's adversities to overcome. So I was looking at an entire obstacle course, relatively, of stuff to think about. Like, yeah, granted, is LA one of the most accepting cities on the planet? Definitely.
Right.
No doubt about it. Like, everybody who's ever had problems in their life, that's why they're here. Because here fixes, helps people fix problems. So we're all like broken in a way, so we get it when people have stuff they're going through. That's why it is so accepting. But
absolutely.
You still get those different obstacles. Like, there was something that I was really scared of was being tokenized. Like, there's a lot of people who are more like, oh, that's the gay comic. Oh, that's the trans comic. Oh, that's the black comic. That's the Mexican comic. Right. It's like I don't want to. No one should ever just be characterized by like themselves physically. So I wanted to like build my craft up as much as I could and try and make a name for myself, like without a label. So it took me a while to get to that point. But another obstacle too is just like, as much as people accept, there's also like ostracization.
Explain that.
Ostracization. That's what I meant to say.
Have you been ostracized yet, Theo?
No, see, this is the crazy thing. So it was just a bacchanalian party of like lavish like praises, like congratulations. It was happiness, it was joy, so much celebrate. It was so much fun. But nobody said anything negative. And then what I realized is it's not about what people say, it's about who doesn't say anything.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
Because it takes, and in that like missing piece, there's part of it that are like, oh, they didn't know that, so they're processing. So like maybe that's why they didn't say anything yet, because they want to gather their thoughts first. But there's also the people who are like, they can't handle that for some reason because they have their own issues to work through. So they basically ostracize me for that or don't say anything. And they just hope that we never talk again or something. But I can't focus on those people.
No, it's like Trump supporters, right? It's like they won't
Right.
say anything, or people in the Senate won't say anything because they quietly support what he does. But
Right.
they don't
Yeah,
want to come out and say that they do because they don't want people to think that they're bad people.
oh, absolutely. And it's much easier to stay silent. That's why indifference is so, like, we're just so wrought with indifference now, because people are way too scared to speak up about something because they want so badly to fit in. Like, it's hard
Right.
to speak out against stuff that's wrong. But it has to be
Right.
done.
Now, when did you know that you were gay, Theo? Like, what? Like, were you little, or like, did it happen later?
It like, I think the seed was planted for a while, but I think it started to like sprout 5
Wait,
years
hold
ago.
up. Who planted that seed?
So
Jack the Gay Star. Jack the Gay Star planted the seed. He just dropped it out when he was sleeping.
You
He
said that
dropped it on
seed.
the
I
couch.
want to know who planted that shit. What happened?
No, it's crazy how the mind's like that. Like, where something can be hidden for years and then sprout, and then like you have no control over it really. But
Theo, when I was coming to terms with my sexual orientation, it was a combination of religion, intense homophobia, because my mother was Jamaican, my dad was from the South, so I was in Philadelphia, so homophobia was very, was met with violence. If you're a fag or something like that, coming out of the closet could have been very dangerous.
Yeah, it's life threatening.
Right, absolutely. And then, then there's society, where, because, gay men are looked at as weaker than, or not as masculine, or, all these things that that you use the word ostracize. It's like that keeps you from feeling that you're part of the society that as humans we want to be loved in, and we want to be interactive in a positive and in a positive manner, and so it took a while for me to really come to terms with that. I was like, oh, I'm straight, but then I was bi, and then finally, after like 10 years I was able to admit to my family that I was gay. I was raised in a mentally abusive, very religiously suppressive environment. Were you raised also in like a very religious environment, or what constraints what deep-seated fears did you have in your journey to self-discovery?
Well, that's an awesome question first off, but I also wanted to like mention, because you said that you first came out as bi and then gay.
Right.
Like you took those baby steps in a way just to kind of test the waters, it seems.
Absolutely.
Like, because it's too much of a leap of faith to just go like 0 to 100 sometimes, because I feel like as much as we finally get the courage to say something, we still keep other people's feelings in mind. Right. So we're like, well, let's give them some processing time. So like, I'll tell them I'm bi, just so they can like massage the public in a way.
Right.
And then so that's interesting you took that step. So, but I'm glad that you're out.
Was there something that was suppressing you from making that leap when you were younger?
Definitely, but I'm just going to answer Ron's question first.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Just because my mind, there's so much to talk about because it's awesome. But so strangely enough, my mom was never religious. She's more New Age spiritual.
Okay.
It's like she flat out did the tarot readings, the palm readings, the crystal ball. Like she had that stuff.
Yeah.
She had like those like marble pyramids with the gold stands. She's like, don't touch that. And you're like, why? What's sacred magic's in this?
Yeah.
But so that was like the extent for my mom. My dad is very intriguing in the fact that he's fickle when it comes to religion. So he would like, there was a time when we were Christian for a while, like when my dad was taking us and stuff. And then we switched to Jewish for a couple years. Then we switched to Catholic. Then we switched to Lutheran. Then we switched to nothing. Then back to, it's like, Dad, make up your mind, for God's sake. Like, so, and my dad, though, is more liberal than anything. So he's not like a conservative. It's like now he is an atheist, and he has been for a long time. But he was the one that made us go to church all the time because he was neurotic in that way. So really religion had no part of it because my sisters are religious, but like it doesn't really affect how I live. So it wasn't really a component for me. It was more just the social aspect.
The social aspect for you. Right on. Yeah.
Sorry if that was a long-winded answer.
No. You know, I asked that. I was hoping that that's what you would do because, you know, I want people to be able to hear the process that people go through when they're trying to fall in love with themselves, you know, and how powerful, you know, shame can be when it's attached to your sexual orientation. And, you know, how much, and you said it yourself, is like, you know, you can't expect to go from 0 to 100, you know, and so it's really important, regardless of what somebody else believes about you, that the person themselves find their inner peace with that, you know?
Oh, definitely. Like no matter how much we say we don't need people, we do in a way.
Right. Absolutely. What, the day that you decided, okay, I remember my day.
Crunch time.
Yeah, I remember my day. What was that like for you?
Okay, so let me do like a little pre-game episode, like a prologue. So the day before that,
real quickly, Theo. After that, I definitely want to get to Jeff's question also, please. Okay.
Oh, so absolutely. Yeah, Jeff, and I'm sorry I didn't answer yours before, by the way. Let's see. What was the question again?
It was what was
the day? I was going to say the day before. Yeah. So, so I went to brunch with a friend who happened to be out for years, and we got to talking about that because he knew before a lot of the world did, or at least a lot of the United States. But that just sounds so arrogant. I was like, as soon as the world knew.
Theo, I've known you for like 5 years, and I love Theo to death. And I have 4 gay cousins. I knew like 6 months into knowing him, I knew. And it was hilarious because he had a girlfriend, and it wasn't a put down on him. I knew eventually he was going to come out. Because I was telling Rob before the show, I said, I've known him forever. So when you came out, I sent him a private message, and I said, I've known for 4 years. I said, I'm glad that when you came, I knew you were for years. But I said,
but how did you know? Like, that intrigued me.
Listen, I am the straight daredevil. I can feel that shit like a blind man. I just knew, like I can feel that shit like a blind man. I was like, he don't like girls. He doesn't have the dirty, filthy glare in his eyes. He reminds me of my cousin. My cousin was gonna marry a woman, and this chick was fucking beautiful. And my own mother told my cousin in private, you really need to like let her go because you're gonna kill her life. And they're friends to this day. And he married a dude, and she's married to a dude, and they, they're tight. But yeah, I knew for a while. I'm like straight daredevil. But Jeff, what's your question with this?
Well, no, like I was gonna say, because like a lot of people told me that they never would have guessed. So when people say that, I'm like, what kind of tipped you off?
The way you dress, your mannerisms. The whole fucking thing. You were like a gay Ben Franklin. I knew all along.
Yeah, Theo.
The clothes.
Theo.
You know, who the fuck are you kidding?
Yeah.
I'm your buddy. Like, I'm really your friend. Who the fuck are you kidding? Like, I knew. Like, they just fucking look at you. If I dressed like that, I'd never get laid. I'd never get any pussy. I would be pussyless. Like in the desert without pussy. I would be pussyless. Jeff, what's your question for Theo?
I forgot now.
It's
It's like 15 minutes ago. I don't remember what it was.
the gay friend Franklin's like sexual electricity, baby.
Yeah, you liked what you didn't like women the way I'm tall. Come on, man. It ain't fucking.
Mike,
You're fooling yourself, brother.
Mike, like you know when I would bring you up on stage and say something, and then for like 5 minutes he would just like go off about me using my nose on women in inappropriate
but
manners.
you're gonna be using it on men. You'll be using that thing, Pinocchio. You'll be telling lies. Jeff,
as soon as COVID's done, it's on.
Yeah.
Jeff, what's your opinion about this whole thing?
I have no idea what his problem is. He just talking about him coming out. So
it was a problem, right? That's
his journey. So I mean, you know, I have nothing to say. That's his journey. That's his truth.
What was like, Jeff? What's your opinion on this? So, like, did you go through stages of like sadness or depression with this whole thing? My cousin went through all kinds of shit.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, so this is the weird thing. So again, the day before, I was sitting in bed at night, and I remember like this overwhelming excitement to finally do it. And I wasn't even scared at all. I was like, I'm not only scared, like not scared, but I'm also super excited to like post the next day and finally do it. So like, I think it just went from uncertainty to excitement to relief and liberation.
But what scares you? So anything scare you about your adventure, what you're about to embark on?
Well, like maybe who wouldn't talk to me anymore, or maybe did I used to have opportunities that I might not anymore because of it? Like, how much is this gonna, like, I remember right before I posted, I was like, Theo, you're about to blow up your entire world right now. And yeah, it was crazy because I was like, this is such a huge step that this will change people's looks on things. It'll change the way I act and live my life. So it is like a entirely new person in a way.
Jeff, what advice would you give somebody like Theo with this thing? Because you got huge balls. You're courageous as fuck.
You know, Ron can really speak on this more than I can because you know Ron's been through this. So that should be something for Ron.
Yeah, I would say this. I'm going to start off with this. One of the most powerful books I've ever read in my life, Theo, is this one right here, and it is The Velvet Rage. The Velvet Rage, right? Overcoming the pain and growing up gay in a straight man's world. And it is by Alan Downs. And
Alan Downs or Towns?
Alan Downs, yeah, Downs.
Cool.
And it is an incredibly powerful book that really shows similar to how, and to kind of get to tie Jeff into this in a way. African Americans, when we back in the 60s and the 70s and 80s, even now, you see with all the civil rights movement, every time you see an ad, every time you go into a bank, every time you interact in a crowd where it's dominantly white, you have people reacting to you like you're different. And so it's the same thing with our Latin brothers and sisters now, how they're being called Mexicans, even if they're from El Salvador or Guatemala or from South, you know, there's this perception that hits you that you're not good enough, you're not equal, you're not, like you're saying all the words of shame, like I'm not going to be accepted, you know, my life is going to be different, when actually it's only going to be better because it's self-love, you know? And so the book really kind of shows you how the social cues affect how you view yourself as a gay man. And it's, and Jeff, the reason I bring that up is, as a person who grew up in, the 70s, the early 70s and all this, and being in professional sports, how would you think that you could relate to being judged because of your race as somebody who could be judged as for your sexual orientation? And Theo, do you see where the heterodominant society and toxic masculinity may have affected how you perceived yourself as a man because of your sexual orientation? Those are the two questions I have.
I think that's a huge part of it, because like it's almost like a toxic masculinity, how it's perceived in that there's so much in culture right now that's just more toxic than it needs to be.
Right.
And masculinity is definitely like masculinity, and there is toxic femininity too. But
absolutely.
I think just being a member of society, like you're always taught to fit in, and like here's behaviors of how to fit in, this and that. So like I think it would affect anybody. So absolutely. I did have to like.
And real quickly, Theo, because I want to try and button this one up. So, Jeff, where do I guess I want to change my question to you is, how do you see the connections as a straight African American man? How do you see the connections between the gay equality and Black equality movements, and where do you see it at today? And how in words of intersecting?
That's a whole lot right there.
Right.
I mean, everybody's fighting everybody's minorities. Everybody's trying to fight for their rights. I mean, we get all that. I just, it's a tough decision. The reason that I put it to you is almost like if I had a daughter and she wanted me to talk about things about being a daughter, I couldn't relate to her on that aspect. You know what I'm saying? I never had a period. I don't go try to talk to dude. You know what I'm saying? I could relate. But the mother could relate because she had those experiences.
Right.
And so that's why I give it to you, because you've had those experiences. You came out. You dealt with demons. You dealt with all kinds of stuff, wondering, okay, should I come out? Should I not come out? You know what I'm saying? So you two could really relate to that.
Yeah.
I can't relate internally. I can't relate to that.
Well,
academically, I can relate to that, but internally, I can't relate to that, and that's where you can relate to that.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I get that. I guess what I was trying to do is, point out to people that when you're a minority, regardless of what type of minority you are in this country, whether it's sexual orientation wise or racially, we all have these things. We all have these blocks that these fears, these blocks, these misunderstandings, these resentments that we have to overcome. And Theo, I know you were about to say something. I wanted to pick up on your thought that you were having.
Oh yeah, sorry. No, because I was just gonna say yeah, like there would be certain ways that I would have to behave differently just because the group around me was acting a certain way.
Well, that's what I picked up on too, because I've known you forever. Yeah. So it's like now you're your real self. You're like what they call your authentic self. Before you weren't, because you couldn't be. So I can tell you, like it's very apparent the way you are now and the way you were before. There's a huge difference, and I think this, and Jeff can chime in on this. I think this is going to be the thing that propels your career more, because you're not faking who the fuck you are anymore. You can be a character, but Jeff's the best writer out of the four of us, and you're going to see the difference, I think, in your truth when you start creating jokes. that it's going to become more closer to you. It's not going to be so separate from you. Like the second person, it'll become the first person, because you already see it in your conversations. You seem like a completely different human being. So it's interesting to watch that.
That's super cool, because like there'd be some conversations like that would be like, what do you think of this girl? Like, she's hot, right? And like
I've asked you those questions, and there would be nothing. There would be nothing. Nothing.
I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, Theo, you know, I've known you about 4 or 5 years also, and I always thought you were at least bi. I just thought that you were dating a girl because you were bi. I didn't know that you didn't know, or that you weren't ready to admit that you had, affection towards men, you know, and that you would be possibly gay or bisexual. I didn't know that was not open. You know, and I never had addressed it to you because I thought you knew, which I found is very interesting. And,
well, I was like baby stepping with my own problems in that way. Like,
I understand. Yeah.
Like my last girlfriend I had, I was really trying to like trick myself in a way. Like,
sure.
When I say that, I'm not saying that relationship wasn't genuine. It was very genuine, but it was my way of trying to like hold on to my straighthood, if that makes sense.
What was her first name?
Her name was Kimmy.
Oh, so when she blow you, you call her Jimmy just so you could get through it?
No, like
you're a fucking asshole. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you?
He said he had to get through it, so I'm just like, well, maybe.
No, it's still a blast. I was just trying to hold on to any vestige I could. I was like,
right,
because if you say it out loud, then it's real to you.
Now,
how does she feel? How does she feel now that you came out? Did she say anything to you?
That's interesting.
No, that's a great question, because she was one of them that didn't say anything at first.
Oh.
And then we talked a little bit last week, and then she said, she tried to tell me that like she was taking it personally because in her mind, like we couldn't be anything anymore.
But she's taking it personal.
Yeah, she took it personally when she shouldn't have. And I'm like,
so when she says personal, does she feel like she had something to do with it, or what does she mean by personal?
Well, like she thought because like I was doing that just to tell her in a way like we're truly over, even though we've been.
It became about her.
Yeah. I was like, no, like I wouldn't do this kind of thing as a vendetta. This is definitely a for real thing. So don't like, you're good. Don't make it about you.
Yeah, but believe it or not, that's a common reaction. You know, she, you know, I'm just going to, you know, I don't know her. And so I'm just going to generally speak right now. But women who date gay men, you know, they have things that they need to take a look at within themselves as to why they would be attracted to a person who cannot fall in love with them. There's love, and then there's love. Okay, there's accessible, and there's available. Okay, I can be single and be available, but is my heart and my soul at its deepest level, you know, is that accessible?
That's true.
And that's love, right? And so when you're dating someone who can't bring their truth to the relationship, there's a film there. That's what Mike is saying. You're so much more free now. You're so much more open now.
Yeah, see, listen, Theo, I met Kimmy, and I, you know, like I said, I've known for years. What I don't fucking get is she was sleeping with you. How the fuck could she not know you were fucking, she had to know you were gay. I mean, when women tell me this shit, I couldn't tell. What do you mean you couldn't fucking tell? Well, I'm his friend, and I can fucking tell. I'm not fucking him. I see this shit. The motherfucker flies around like fucking Tinkerbell. You can't tell that this motherfucker's gay? You know
Now we
what
got
I'm
Disney mad at us.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can't. You fly when you talk. No.
Right.
We'll never work for Disney now.
And you know what? And you know what, Mike? There's codependency issues. There's self-esteem issues. You know, there is self-love, self-worth issues. Because again, although the physical of the relationship is there, you're having sex. You know, this person is. There's always going to be that missing ingredient. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like when women will say like, "Oh, there's just something up. There's just a disconnect." That's not the first time I heard that in my dating history.
Well, I hear that all the time, so watch yourself.
I'm fucking mentally ill, so I get that shit too.
Slow down
you
there,
don't love
buddy.
me. Yeah, that's nothing fucking new.
Oh, sorry, I'm just someone who flies around and
you fly, motherfucker. Well, I've known you found I met Kimmy. She was cute. I would have hit her. She was cute.
Yeah, she is. She is.
Like a hipster, she's like a little hipster girl and shit. She was cute. Little hippie hipster girl.
No.
Probably smelled like patchouli
Okay, here's the thing. She was an incredible person to be with. Like I'm gonna give her that. But like after a while you still have problems that are irreconcilable. So you go with the hand you're dealt and you're like, hey, this will be my chip in for the other casino.
Now, Jeff, what advice would you give him as far as people confronting him that knew him before and now that he's the new Theo? What would be your advice? Because you give him some advice, Jeff.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I would just be me, and if they can't handle it, then they got to go. Because then they want your friends anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like this coronavirus has showed a lot of people who their friends are and who their friends aren't.
Right.
And so just treat it just like Facebook. If they can't be your friend, block their ass. So yeah,
dude, that's a great.
You're gonna go through some shit because I've been sober for almost a year and I love alcohol. That was my 6th time being in rehab. Jeff has known all 6 of them, and I'm gonna tell you something. When you get clear and you get authentic, Jeff will tell you this, and Ron will tell you this. People will drop the fuck off because you're not gonna be able to do the same shit with them that you did before. Like, people go, oh, well, can you have a drink? I'm like, no, motherfucker, I don't drink anymore. And they're like, oh, I don't want to hang out with you no more. Now that you're gay, which I've known forever, it's like, well, I don't want to hang out with you now because you're gay. You're the same fucking deal you've always been.
Which, that would never make any sense.
Right.
Right.
But
I don't think,
Jeff,
I don't think that I don't think you're going to see people saying they don't want to hang out with you. I think people
drop off.
I think you're probably going to there's going to be certain men that probably are in the closet also that were in these emotionally linked relationships with you because you both could feed off of each other's gay energy without the responsibility of being gay. I think those types of people will distance themselves, because
it's not the same kind of feed anymore.
They're not ready to take that step,
Jeff, what's your opinion on that shit? I'm lost.
Oh no, I think Ron's on. I think on the other hand, he may have women coming to him thinking, "Oh, he just thinks he's gay."
Yeah,
I'm gonna show him he's not gay. You might get that type of.
Yeah, that never stops. Actually, that never stops. Women who want to sleep with gay men, I don't get it. And then they get butthurt
because they want to reconvert us.
Yeah, and it's like, honey, no, I know better. You have nothing for me, honey.
I remember what's down there, and I don't want to descend again.
Hey, their pussy is shock therapy. That's what they think.
I want that shock therapy. Shock therapy, my ass. Give me that pussy. Shock therapy, me, motherfuckers.
One of the things that I wanted to make sure.
Get some of the shock therapy right here.
Shock therapy, me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ron. I'm sorry. I just had to keep running with it. It was too easy.
It was good.
But one of the things that that I was thinking about in the lead up to this interview is I wanted to point out to people, because of toxic masculinity, you have sexuality and you have sexual orientation. Most straight men, for instance, don't want to do anything with their butt, even with their girlfriend, because they believe it makes them gay. And so you are hampering a part of your sexuality because you're afraid of social stigma around homophobia.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
And then you have your sexual orientation, like me and Theo are talking about with Mike and Jeff, and the difference is there. But the most important thing that I think people need to understand is that gay is not a sex act.
Right.
Gay is not two people of the same sex making out. That's a sex act. Gay, anything that continually shows up in nature adds to the strength and durability of the species. That is proven. And the more that science is able to understand the brain and how we process energy and emotions and all these things, we're starting to figure out more along the lines of what gay is, but it's not a sex act. So
Right. But when people have to take on the mental aspect, that scares them.
right. Who's listening to TV while we're having this interview? Let's ask that question.
My roommate.
Oh, that's what's going on. Okay, I heard TV. I was like, okay, what's going on here? I'm hearing it.
I thought they were the voices in my head. All right,
it was the voices in your head.
Let's sum this up. Jeff, what's your final advice for Theo?
I could talk about this for hours, by the way.
I know. What's your final advice for Theo, Jeff?
I can't even think. First of all, don't get mad when people call you Kenny G. Just,
I don't. It's a blessing.
I bet you get that, don't you?
I one time signed an autograph as his son before.
Yeah, I can see that.
Use that shit to get you some dick. You're Kenny G's younger brother.
Yeah.
You play talk instead of the saxophone.
My thing would be this: just never deny who you are. That's who you are, and don't let people put tags on you. Just you be who you are. If they can't accept that, then they got to go. And so if you're in a room with people and they're talking about gay guys, say, hey, I'm gay. I'm just letting you know that offends me. Be okay with that. Don't let them dictate how you should feel or say.
Yeah, and that I hate how hard that is sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I do as a black man all the time.
Ron, what would be your final words to Theo?
First of all, and just going off to what you just said there, Theo, it is difficult. Read Velvet Rage. I think that you'll find that book extraordinarily powerful for you where you're at right now. I've always you're an adorable man. You're just such a wonderful person inside and out. Your soul, you're just a good nature, good character. I applaud you on your journey. I know the joy that you're feeling. You know what I mean? And I can't express how happy I am. I'll be honest with you. As I'm talking to you, I'm like, oh, I wish I felt like that type of a gay again.
That's too fucking strange for me. You know what I mean?
I wish I had that gay in me. I like have like 14 white boys chained up underneath my bed right now. And
he really does. We're like two sides of we're two different sides of the coin.
It's just
the conversations late at night are insane. We were like the shit we do. It's just.
I feel like Bram Stoker's Dracula gay man, you know what I mean? And you're like the fresh homosexual, you're like, I'm so happy. And I'm like, oh.
My final word to close the thing out, I'm glad that you're out, Theo, and I'm glad that you're happy, and I'm glad that you're your authentic self. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that you're free of all the bullshit that you were going through. So good luck in life, and we're your friends, and that's it. This is our show. So you think you have problems? Jeff Keller, Ron Bush.
I'm going to throw Theo Manhattan over my shoulder and run into the mountains.
Yes.
Hey, I'm Jeff Keller. So you think you got problems? If you want to be a guest, you can hit me up. On Twitter, Instagram, my mom's white. On Instagram, my mom's white on Twitter. So if you want to be a guest on the show and you want to have a coming out party, hey, we're the show, so you think you got problems.
Theo, give us a plug where we can find you.
Right now, find me on Instagram at the most relatable man.
You gonna have
Ron,
to
where
change
can we
that.
find you?
I was hoping for a street address, but we'll go ahead. We'll start with Instagram first.
Ron, I have to have some air of mystery.
Yes, absolutely.
We're gonna
Ladies
change
and
this
gentlemen,
show to Love Connection. That's what the
I don't know
fuck
what the fuck's going on here. Ron, where can we find you?
At ron.bush and the number 1 on Instagram or Facebook. Ron Bush Online is my website, and at Ron Bush Comedy for Twitter. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Theo, thank you,
Thank you,
for this interview. I hope that there is people who listen can hear the emotional weight that came off of your shoulders and the journey that you're undertaking, right?
What? And for just quickly, like, it's like great to see you, Mike and Ron again, and Jeff. It was nice to meet you. Like, I had a blast, guys.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you were great,
Listen,
dude. You can find me on Serial Killer of Comedy on Instagram, Midget Demon on Twitter, Mike Muratori on Facebook, and my website is Serial Killer of Comedy. You guys have been great guests. Thanks for watching our show tonight. God bless you all. Ron, what do you have to say?
Real quickly, and Theo, can we have you back in about 2 months when Mike finally comes out the closet and he's a
Yeah,
tongue-guzzling pig?
yeah, I'm gonna
You know
come
what I
out of the
mean?
closet.
We
like
got him.
Grow black hair. Yeah, it's just my dream to fucking fuck dudes, Ron.
He's gonna change his website. He's gonna change his website to midgetdemonofdick.com.
Yeah, Midget Demon of Dick. That's gonna be my new fucking moniker. MidgetDemonofDick.com. Old school MidgetDemonDick.com.
Barbarians, all of you.
All right, you guys have been great.
You got problems.
You got problems. Till next
Thank
time.
you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you, man.